Now with civil engineers, the thing is that a lot of standardization is there, and more so ever civil engineers don't know what is their vision, right? Because they have never asked their why. That's why you will see a lot of civil engineers struggling for jobs and running behind this 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 jobs, whereas architects, they'll start somewhere.
They started 2,000,
2,000, 3,000 also, even if they're earning, they'll go to their hometown or small town, big, large, does not matter. They start their own practice. That's the difference. So the freedom has a different meaning to it. Freedom to take decision is not in your hands because you are working for somebody else. But freedom to decide what you love is in your hands. Suppose the company decides tomorrow, no, we don't do residential, we'll do commercial. You can't say no. Either they will kick you out or you'll have to learn. But here you can decide. My calling is residential. I'll do residential only. The students, you need to understand there is fixed cost and there is a variable cost.
So to cater to all these doubts, all these loopholes, all these opportunities in the industry, I have with me Mr. Siddarth Nahta. Again, like how Sachin introduced, we know each other for 6-7 years now. Same from the place we studied our masters, and from there, of course, he has worked in big corporates. Most in terms of famous, it would be Hilti, of course. And after that, he has had multiple other ventures which he has involved from scratch. A lot of resources of ours who are interested to take up freelancing projects, and we push them to Gigfactory, and a couple of them have already been given projects as well at a big scale, right? So I'd like to welcome Siddarth Nahta for this. And my first question, what is your understanding of entrepreneurship?
So thank you for introducing what we are trying to do. You're rightly putting right people and right place.
Correct.
Right. So entrepreneurship for me is basically freedom. Freedom to choose what I have, freedom to choose what I want, and freedom to choose what I can do.
Correct.
And all of this you can do with entrepreneurship. But now here we as a company cater to two kinds of entrepreneurs. One is a freelancer who is on their own, single person team, and second is a micro entrepreneur who is having 2, 4, 5, 6, 10, 8, 20 people. Generally, these are micro entrepreneurs. Now, India is filled with these kind of people in all the towns of towns, villages, states. City only you have this big corporates where one company
Correct.
employs all of that. So entrepreneurship to me, if you ask, is a cultural thing for Indians. We have always been entrepreneurs. Just remove the last 50 years of American dominance. Before that, you go to any town, village, city, you find entrepreneurs in n numbers. Farmers are the biggest entrepreneurs.
Correct.
They cultivate their own field, they eat apart and then they sell it apart, right? You take other examples of people who have those cows also, village if you talk. You go to a small town, you will have those architects there, you will have small civil engineers. So entrepreneurship was a cultural thing for us. Now it will come back because we are bitten by Western ideologies. So there also entrepreneurship is mushrooming.
Correct.
It will come back again. But to us, it is a native thing. We are not doing anything new. It is in our blood to become or to behave as an entrepreneur. And I'll give you one perspective also. Why do you think all the top CEOs of all the big company, Google, Microsoft, Satya Nadella, and all of that, World Bank, everyone, we know it, all the names. Why are they top bosses? Indians. Why? Population. China is also same population. Maybe more. It was more. Yeah, you are getting there, right? So one of the way I define it, there are multiple dimensions to it, right? No answer is right or wrong, but multiple dimensions. There is one dimension which is our culture. Our culture has two key components which is required for leadership. One is you have to be empathetic in nature, which all these top guys, top CEOs, they have. And second one is running these big organizations requires you to have an entrepreneurial spirit. It's called entrepreneur, which is under a company. So these sort of core values we already have. That's why we are able to be in the top positions of all these companies. Is my perspective.
Perfect. Now coming to straight the context behind entrepreneurship, right? Before, like you said, it's in the culture of India in historical way. Even the small grocery store owner is the biggest entrepreneur, the vegetable vendor, because we know even in the small towns, a vegetable vendor, we know that he is making a lot of money. Some people, not everyone. Non-taxable, that all is a separate thing, but he knows the economics behind it. He knows the accounts behind it. Day to day we see in Mumbai a vada pav seller making 30 lakh, 40 lakh a month sometimes. We see one cart guy with 3 different variety of dosa making 30, 40 lakh a month. Now seeing the success, especially this land, which is I would go as far as to say this is the capital of startups in India, correct? In terms of opportunity, in terms of problem solving. Because one thing that I believe is, you want any problem to be solved, there is a startup already in Bangalore, correct? However, what I believe in terms of probably the context or the intention behind startup, a lot of people want to start their own company because their thinking is, I don't want to work under someone else. So coming to the intention or the context behind why you want to do startup, what do you think has gone right? What do you think has gone wrong in terms of the right intention for people to do their own entrepreneur journey?
Right. And I think that is one of the most important question you need to ask yourself before starting any sort of venture. Why you are doing it? So one is of course the freedom. That is my definition, right? Your definition can be something else, like I want to earn X amount of money, right? The other person's definition can be, I want to serve this particular area of people. The other definition can be, I want to improve the lives of certain kind of people, right? All the definitions are right. All the objectives are right. It is just how you want as a person, what you want. And the moment you align it, you know it better, you will have a clarity. So that is one thing which you should follow, is finding your why. Now what has gone wrong? You're sitting in Bangalore, with a lot of startups and VC money. What has gone wrong is ethics. People have started a lot of startups just to take out VC money and then do something with it. So they don't have a clear understanding of what they want to achieve. Right?
Somewhere vision is lost.
So initially they might have a vision of we'll change the world and do this and that, but in that rat race they forget why they started, right? So, and they might have a clarity also. They might have this intention that I want to make $100 million and then done. So they are right in their vision, individual vision. Currently I'm talking from an individualistic perspective. Be clear with your vision. Now in our field, let me dilute it down to, or concentrate it up to our field. People either start their own practice because of the fact that they can't implement their boss's vision. You have your own. Generally for architects you'll see this, they have a certain style of designing, so they want to implement their own practice. They'll start a small setup somewhere in their town and keep on building it. Now with civil engineers, the thing is that a lot of standardization is there, and more so ever civil engineers don't know what is their vision, right? Because they have never asked their why. That's why you will see a lot of civil engineers struggling for jobs and running behind this 8,000, 10,000, 15,000 jobs, whereas architects, they'll start somewhere.
They started 2,000,
3,000 also, even if they're earning, they'll go to their hometown or small town, big, large, does not matter. They start their own practice. That's the difference. But you need to know your why. That is the first thing that you need to do right.
Okay. Now, you came right to the topic of civil engineers. I would emphasize more on that because the majority here are civil engineers, right? Now, first thing is, I definitely agree, which is finding out why. Correct? why you want to start your own firm. Is it like you told, there are multiple reasons, right? From what we know or with our network, majority of the reason in the previous generation was, I have good enough knowledge, I have good enough network, and I know I can make more money if I start my own. Now this generation, probably of this crowd, is coming with a different context, because they come with a context of, I can't work in a corporate setup anymore. Either they are fed up with the manager, the team, or the politics that goes on in the corporate structure. So the freedom comes there, and that is where this generation comes with that intention. Now to manage both, let's say one is with the technically they are good enough to start, second is the freedom for which they want to start. How do you see both ideologies working for a civil engineer who starts?
So the first one is a prerequisite.
Technical skills.
Technical skills is a prerequisite. If you don't know what you are going to do, then what value you are going to add in the clients? Chalo, value bhi chhod do. It's a very sort of this term, how you perceive it. Let's come to a very simple building, residential building you want to do. If you yourself have taken a project for 10 lakh and you don't know, you'll shoot up the cost by 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh, you don't know how much, right? Because you don't know only, and you will work on the advice of your supervisor or labor also, that is very bad. So you will work as per them, and then later on at the finishing stage you will get to know, oh, 10 lakh project, I'm already spent 10 lakh, now who will complete? So you'll take loss, and then you will say, no, entrepreneurship is tough, boss. Please acquire the skills first. That's the reason, you have all these college, institutes, working setup. So of course, technical skills is the base. Needless to say, 95% of the contractor, now I'm contradicting my own statement, 95% of the contractors in India are 5th pass. Nobody knows what to do technically, but they have certain skill sets, which is second part of my answer. They have certain skill set where they know what is important. Again, the Pareto rule of 80-20, they know what are the 20 places that I need to focus. Cash flow being one of it. Value driven engagement being second of it, which is, in easy words, how do you communicate with client? How do you communicate what is the value that I'm bringing as a contractor? Third is, they make the life of the client easy. Now, a lot of so-called smart people, what they do is they go too much into technical details, that when sitting with the client, they'll only talk technical. And ask a client the technical question also, sir, should we take 3 mm per square or 4 mm? Client does not know, and he's not supposed to know also. So you need to understand yourself first, then your field second, right? The moment your why is clear and your technical knowledge is there, then you go to the third part of your question, which is freedom. Once you have, even small is fine. Let's say, you have worked just for 2 years and you have sort of interior projects life cycle is 3 months. You have done 4 or 5 interior projects in fairly good. So you understand the cycle, start and. You have a decent experience. You can start your own practice. No problem, boss. You started first 2 projects, you will face some loss only. Okay, no problem. Then you will get to the flow of it. Then comes the freedom. Now, if you're just taking entrepreneurship to get rid away from your manager because he tells you to do something which you don't want to do, please don't come into entrepreneurship. Because in our field, particularly civil engineering, you are always told by the client, you do whatever you want, else come and do. You can't do anything, right? So the freedom has a different meaning to it. Freedom to take decision is not in your hands because you are working for somebody else. But freedom to decide what you love is in your hands. Suppose the company decides tomorrow, no, we don't do residential, we'll do commercial. You can't say no. Either they will kick you out or you'll have to learn. But here you can decide, my calling is residential, I'll do residential only. So that way the freedom is there.
Freedom to choose is there, freedom to work is not there. So much.
Work in a way that, if let's say my favorite color is white. Now you are the client, you are saying your favorite color is yellow. Now I cannot argue, of course, right? It is your house. So I'll simply paint yellow. That freedom is not there because it is your project.
Freedom to choose me as a client you have.
Yeah, of course, I'm signing the project, right? So I have the freedom to choose you. So you execute what you are told, and that is the value that I'm adding. I'm doing the execution on your behalf. So now this freedom is there.
Now coming to the pain point or the opportunity, I would not say pain point, opportunity, right? You know the cohort, correct? Let's say 1-2 years experience right now or sometime in the future, if they want to get in. What do you think are the basic things they need to know? Because you handle a lot of outsourcing sector, I would say. It's no more a concept, it is a big sector right now, outsourcing, right? So what are the few things they should know before entering? And second, what are the things expected or appreciated from the company's side or the client side?
Right. So first is, I will always say basic hygiene. Be on time, be it VC call, personal call, always respond. Wherever you are, just dropping a text helps. So response is one of the things which comes under the purview of communication. That you need to communicate with your external, internal, both the stakeholder. We have already established that you need to have the required technical skills. Be it small or large, does not matter, but let's say, you are going to furnish this interior space. You need to know the material, right? Else, how are you going to install it? So that knowledge has to be there. The basic hygiene has to be there. Then third come is your experience. How you quote, how you communicate with the client. Majority of the people, what they fail to understand is they are here to execute client's vision. So they need to understand and sit with the client and ask questions. And this is not only about micro entrepreneurs or freelancers. This is even about a lot of large corporates. I have personally seen in one of my organization where I was working, because as a designer, I have some notion to it. I have already prepared. I put in 1 month of my whole time. I go to client and client say, no, this shape I don't want. This color I don't want. किससे पूछ के तुमने डाला? So communication with the client is the key missing point, which if you do well, you are a top name in the industry. You don't do well, you are one of the hundreds and thousands. There is one more point which you asked is what is the basics that you need to, be ready with before you want to start your own. Connections or networking is something that you should start creating. Not only higher level of connection where you are getting the project, but also with your team, your subcontractor, your labor. Because that is an edge that the other guys don't have. Generally, as a networking, what is a misconception is, I need to network with people who can give me work.
Correct.
Right? And everyone follows that and they go crazy about it.
They go to conferences.
Do everything. Okay, boss, you got the project. Now execute. How will you do? So you need to have your people, and that's why you'll observe. Whoever is the best contractor, they have their teams very strongly ready. So create a network of your supplier, your vendors, your subcontractor, your labor teams, etc. So that is one piece of advice.
Correct. This is something that we try to impart. Just to give a context, we have already told multiple people who go through the training to make I'm pretty sure you have it, Google sheet of the local vendors for each materials. Probably at around 100 materials, their vendors in Bangalore. Because like you said, mostly they think, okay, we'll make some VP connection, CEO connection, but on site, it's the vendor and subcontractor, probably even labor contractor, because right now, you will agree, getting labor is almost as tough as getting client.
Yes.
And I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who get the project like you said, but because they don't know the right labor contractors, they pay premium for the labors,
right,
and they get unskilled.
100%.
And their entire margin is wiped out.
100%.
Correct? So that is one of the prerequisites. Okay. Now, if let's say you are the company who wants a freelancer or who wants to take a outsourced, what are the things you look at?
Oh yeah, very interesting. So I'll tell you about how we have built the platform of Gigfactory. So when we were doing our proof of concept, just at the wave to COVID, we sort of started with phone calls only. right? So this is the project. What do you want? And the first word, I tell you, we play in pre-construction phase, drawing, design, documentation.
Correct.
We don't do into execution, post-execution phase. So drawing, design, and documentation. What do you want to get done? So when I used to talk to client, they'll say, Siddarth, I need somebody who can do 3D drawings. So now there are two keywords: do and 3D drawings. Do means that person needs to have a skill, and the definition of skill is 3D
drawings.
And then when I asked, okay, 3D drawings in which format? Then they will say, okay, Revit, Lumion, and whatever, right? Or Sketcher. So then the second part of definition is the software also. Again, that is a part of skill only.
Correct.
Now comes my next question. Sir, how big is the project?
Square foot.
Square foot. In other word, in project management word, that is scope.
Scope, correct.
Then my follow-on question would be, when do you want it to be completed? So now we are defining the timelines.
Correct.
Then I used to ask, okay, sir, how much you will pay?
Budget.
He will say, let's say 50,000. Then I'll ask, okay, sir, how will you pay? So we are defining the milestone. All this question we did learning and experiment, and then devised a very simple 3-point framework for our users, which is our client. They need to define a clear scope, for which we have also developed a AI-based simple tool. You click and then you get a detailed scope also.
Correct.
And I can proudly say I'm from one of the first companies from Nikmar who is using AI in construction. Second part of our form is, after you have defined the scope very clear, you can also put in your drawings, design, brief, documents, anything as an attachment. Second, you need to define what is the skill set that you're looking for. Because we play in multiple variety, it can be drawing, design, it can also be documentation, BOQ, project management, baseline, anything can be there. Even procurement, you want rates of some items which is not there. You put a project, maybe 5,000 rupees or so, right? So you can buy anything in knowledge. So you need to define the skills, you need to define the location, etc. Then you come to the third page, which is your execution.
Just before you go to execution, is there a criteria where companies also expect them to work remote, or they have to come and meet us?
Yeah, very good question. So the concept that we are bringing and the why we started is, after COVID we saw a trend
of remote working
specifically in pre-construction. And we ourselves were running companies. We saw that a lot of profit margin is going away because of physical office space, workspace. 15,000 is minimum employee cost per employee in a good city.
Correct.
Minimum 15,000, and then you are paying how much to the draftsman? 15,000.
So it's
workspace cost and
salary.
Salary is equal. Crazy. So we started the concept. Second was skill. Third was how do you execute. So we have a small plan sort of thing. So like I asked you, budget, milestone. So now we break each project into different milestones to make sure that you are working in the right direction and getting an approval in between from the client. And only on that basis you need to pay.
Okay.
Then we also introduced a concept called escrow. Might be a new word for some of you. Escrow payments. What happens is, you ask the client to put the money first. Then the work is done by the contractor, and then client says okay, pay. Then the money goes. So both the parties are safe in this manner.
Just to give you a context why this is done, escrow, because there have been a huge history in Indian real estate where people have committed to pay to the contractor and they don't pay. You would have also observed where even the contractor tells within 10 days I'll pay to the vendor, and within 10 days it's not being paid. So what escrow does is, you take the money, keep it in a safe space. Okay, it only goes to them once the project is done. Correct. The advantage for the vendor here is, the vendor knows that money has already been sanctioned and kept in a separate place. So then the client cannot say, or the contractor cannot say, I don't have money, because you have clearly kept it in a safe space. Clear? Correct?
Perfect definition. Yeah, so the third part comes to execution, and that's how you post a project. That's it. So through our learnings, our team has a lot of learnings. Altogether, we have 70 years of cumulative experience. The other co-founders are also from Nikmar. They have spent 20 years in the industry. So we devised a simple 3-point formula. First, you define what is your scope. Second, you define what is the skill that you're looking for. And third is how do you want this project to be executed.
Correct.
And money and all. After that, you put in the platform. Then all these micro entrepreneurs and freelancers, they are able to see and put your proposal.
Correct.
Then we devised, we actually used proper project management framework, created a digital sort of your project's control, where you can do techno-commercial comparative, you can do video chat, you can utilize RFI framework which we have built, very simple framework. You have document control, you have document sharing option, you have message and chat option. So all these features we built in one single dashboard.
Perfect. Now, very simple. To take it a little further, okay? Let's say they want to do it right now. Correct. What are the ways to get in? What are the skills at this point which are trending? Where do companies actually want outsourced people? And where do you see that industry going further for this generation or them?
Right, so there are 4 questions actually to it.
I'll come with the first point.
Yeah.
Okay. Which are the profiles or skills which are trending right now?
Right, so trending so now in Gigfactory we have around about 500 registered experts with us. First you ask is the process of getting inside the Gigfactory platform. So we follow a simple process. You come to our platform, you tell everything about yourself. You can even upload your portfolio, profile, resume, whatever you have. Then, and on the back end, we do a gig scoring based on your experience. If you pass a certain score, you get if you do not pass, you are currently on wait or on hold, right?
Correct.
Now, once you are already in, you can see all the projects and apply to any of them. Now, the skills which are currently running on top or which are selling, faster, one is of course BIM, Revit, the selling fastest.
Correct.
Second is BOQ because it is manual work. Third is GFC making. If some of you is an architect, then good for construction drawing, or IFC, issue for construction, is selling. Then fourth is sort of presentation making also. A lot of companies come, the CEO has some meeting or some presentation to be done. They'll come, they'll ask, can somebody help me with the presentation and all, feasibility reports and all. So these are the 3, if you ask me, hot selling places.
So
just one disclaimer, our average, experience, median experience of our expert is 12 years. So we generally look at people who are having 10, 12, 15, 20 years of experience. Having said that, it is not that we don't take 0 to 5 years of guys. We also take them for different type of project, which is 3D render, Lumion, SketchUp, all this software based tool.
Correct.
We take them in for that.
Perfect. Now let's look at the quality of work required. Okay. Now if it is GFC or if it is BOQ, what is the detailing of work required by the company if one of these guys or anyone has to get a freelancing job? So what is the detailing that?
Right. So now quality is a very subjective question in construction, खास तौर से specifically in drawings. So we follow 2-3 measures to make sure that quality is ensured. First one, on the front face, we ask the client, you can upload your expected outcome file. So they only share their sort of sample file as a reference file. That is level 1. Level 2 is with every proposal, you can upload a file. The kind of quality of drawing you can produce because
this is what I can offer to the company.
Yeah, this is what I can offer to the company. And let's say 3 people put up a proposal. You have put in that this is what I want. You think, okay, first person, no, the quality is not good. Second, excellent. Third is okayish. Then of course it's a techno commercial comparative. So techno you done, then you will do commercial comparative, whatever fits you, done. Second level of answer to your question is, see, drawings. Now what is the location? So currently we have successfully completed India proof of concept, right? We work with a lot of clients here in India. Indian drawings are somewhat same in almost all the places, bar a few good companies, mostly are same. You go to Middle East, the level of detailing increases. right? Because they expect once a drawing has been issued by an architect, will directly go to the site and the site guy can, simply operator can see it and install. Done with it. You go to US, more detailing, even about the material also they will try to define, okay, this is the material, this is how you hinge it, everything, each and every layer of definition they follow. So depending on which market you are in, the level of detail varies, and that's why we have a very systematic process of balancing the expectation and the delivery.
Now, just to come back before we open up for the Q&A, come back to the entrepreneurship side. All right. Now, again, this is with data. There is a company called Ink42 which does a lot of research on startups. So they came up with a statistic which said in Bangalore from 2020 to 2023, 3 years, the companies which opened in 2020, 72% of them have closed in 2023. All right. So that means only 28% are still running. Okay. And this includes, so there they told 72 is general, but each sector they divided. In construction, it is about 61% which has been closed. This is only in Bangalore, by the way. Right. And so they did for 3-4 cities. Hyderabad has had the highest retention. So Hyderabad construction companies around 70% are still there. So only 30% has dropped. In Bangalore, it's only 42% something. But anyway, that doesn't define the entire Indian market, but major cities. Now, for you, what do you think are the reasons why it might go down? Or what are the basic things to make sure it survives the first initial part, which is the toughest part?
Right. So I think we started this company, Gigfactory, to help on the same cause. Because it was around and post-COVID, a lot of companies started bleeding heavily. That's why you will find that data, 3 years.
Sorry, does anyone know what bleeding is for a startup? What is it? You can whatever you know you can tell. Burning cash, losing money, all right. Because bleeding, sometimes they consider it for concrete bleeding.
Oh, right. Yes, of course, concrete. So technically a lot of profits were, bleeding, and since the work was stalled, your fixed cost. So now the students, you need to understand there is fixed cost and there is a variable cost. So fixed cost is fixed. Whatever you do, the business work or don't work, that much amount of money you have to give. Example, rents, etc. Now the variable cost vary, depending on the project. So the fixed cost of a lot of these companies will be very high, because they have hired employees, so you have to pay salaries. Nothing is working, no cash flow. Cash in is not there, cash out is there. That's the reason these guys closed, and that's the reason we started Gigfactory, so that you can reduce your fixed cost and convert that into variable cost. Whenever you want an on-demand service, boss, come to Gigfactory, purchase it, go back happily. You don't need to hire, and that's the concept which is working very well in US, Europe market, picked up well. After COVID, we have sort of realized, keep your core to yourself, outsource the VEX and be happy with your core functionality. Get the work on demand, plug and play model working very well in all the industry. Same concept.
Can you elaborate more on the fixed variable cost, and if you want to make it work?
Right. Second part of your question. Right. That suggestion for entrepreneurs. So of course the same concept will follow.
Because I'll just explain. The reason is lot of the people, like we also believed when we started, to be honest, was that okay, one, you need some financial backing, you need network, like he told. These two prerequisites are basics and technical skills. Post that, lot of entrepreneurs don't think what else is required. So they think, okay, we have the network, we have probably 10 lakhs saved or 1 crore saved, whatever the money is. Then we have a technical degree, technical expertise, so let's start. Apart from that, what do you see?
Cash flow.
As an understanding of cash flow, or
No, proper cash flow management.
From the start.
Normal construction companies, they die because of cash flow only. So I have example, I'll take an example. I am a contractor, for example. and I have a receivable of 1 crore. And today I have to pay salary of 10 lakh. Now my receivable will come in next 45 days because I have raised RA bill. What do you think? I am in profit or I am in loss?
Loss. Cash flow wise.
Of course. Will I survive or not?
45 days per month.
Right? Because I have to pay tomorrow. So what I will do is I will arrange for funds. Now since the example was easy, is 10 lakh and 1 crore. Now you just went the example, 1 crore income, 1 crore cash flow you have to give. Are you in profit or loss? You will say I'm neutral. No, you are in loss because you will have to take out a loan to solve your current liability problem. Immediately you have to pay, then pay interest also. If the 45 days your income is not there, you start entering into problem. That's the reason a lot of construction companies goes down contractor. Same thing happened with the freelancer or micro entrepreneur also. So what generally I've seen people do mistakes is, let's say first project they get 2-3 lakh rupees they have made. Instantly they shift their lifestyle. Fancy office. First thing is fancy office, MacBook, iPhone, because these are young guys. I'm not talking about 10-15 years of experience. 10-15 experience, they'll make a different type of mistake, which is getting an office. More fancy office, because they think the person coming is for the office. No, they are coming for your skill sets. So this is mistake. Not everyone will make it. Of course, the successful guys, they don't make all these mistakes. They'll focus on increasing their capacity, increasing the value that they deliver. So that's something that people need to do. The moment you earn good amount of money, focus on developing it, in a business sense, not your personal. Don't mix yourself as a company.
Which is true. So, like you said, like we have all seen this. The moment they make 1-2 projects, and we also know that the first 2 projects came because of some uncle, some auntie, some cousin. That's how most contractors start. Correct? Some dad's reference, mom reference, someone will give you the project. So they think, okay, I've got 2 projects, so I'll get 2 every month. But after that family connection is over, that's when the struggle starts. And again, in Bangalore, we have recently seen in the last 4-5 years a huge shift where freelancers or micro entrepreneurs are not taking office spaces at all, where they're just going into co-working spaces and taking a couple of seats here and there, and they pay monthly. Right? If I fire, one of the companies, Studio Mavi, is in a beehive. So they are in a workspace, and they are 6-7 years old probably. So they're still in the co-working space only. So a lot of companies are shifting where the fixed cost can be as less as possible. So that gives you that freedom. When you make money, add more seats. When you lose money, remove more seats. But you still have a location. You still have some interiors to show off. But it is not yours. Some beehive WeWork will own it. But cost-wise, it's a better decision. Now, in terms of, let's say, giving or coming to the entrepreneur side, not the entrepreneurship, as an entrepreneur, right? Apart from, let's say, these are civil engineers, right? Apart from the civil engineering, technical, whatever it is, any other basic concepts or other aspects they need to know before starting?
Their own company, right? So again, what are you starting into?
The cash flow is one. Right. So basic accounting terms they should know. What is profit, loss?
No, not basic, boss. Sorry to interject in between. Not only basic terms. Now we are not learning the terms. Now we are expending money from our own pocket. Whatever is gone is gone. It will not come back. So terms जानने से नहीं चलेगा.
So you should know how to implement.
You should know how to implement. You should know how to, very basic. Have we got a pocket money in our childhood? Yes. From our parents, let's say you got 1,000 rupees, 5,000, whatever. Now, you already know this pocket money is for 1 month. Next month, my pocket money is going to refill. Just this variable of when the money is going to come is dynamic in nature. You actually don't know when your money is going to come. So you try to plan it better so that you know when it is going to come. That's the whole game of entrepreneurship. That's it. If you know your cash flow, particularly in construction, if you know your cash flow, okay, I'm going to get, let's say, I've raised a RA bill of 10 lakh rupees. I'm going to get 10 lakh rupees in 30 days. I have to pay this vendor, this vendor, this vendor, this labor supplier, this is my team. You plan it well. 90% of the things are solved. Of course, you do your delivery, you complete the project, you communicate with the client, all of that is there. But people fall in this trap of cash flow, hygiene. Okay. Second,
Continue.
Second thing is what you need to know as civil engineer. Let me, come back to again, but very specific, is what can you deliver. So I'll give you pointers of what is getting sold as a civil engineer. One is, can you do BOQ? Right? If you can make a BOQ of, then again, BOQ structure, MEP, interior. Interior, there is a good demand, by the way. So if you can do one of the BOQ, then try to find their projects. Now, very interesting point here is, I'll again come back to this skill, but I would like to take this point. First two project you got from uncle. What about the next one? Then you will start exploring networks. It will take some time, of course. That's the sole reason we started Gigfactory. Because all these people people are going to come in entrepreneurship.
Correct.
India is growing fast like crazy, so people will join entrepreneurship and they will earn also good amount of money. People earn in entrepreneurship. It's starting में difficult. It's difficult at the start.
Once you cross the saturation point, it's huge.
Once you have mastered the art of this cash flow management, you are set. So people will come, but they will face this challenge of opportunities. That is the sole reason we started this. Boss, first two projects you will get from your network. Then please come to Gigfactory if you can deliver. You'll get your projects. You work on your project at your location, at your skill sets, at your convenience. Earn money, live happy life. That's our vision. So for them, I'll come back again to the skills. BOQ making, if you can do, great. Now, if you can do design of structure, great. There are so many companies looking for all these services. If you can do structure design, if you can offer it in a better cost and good designs, people are there. Optimized design, I would say, good name, optimized design. Then civil engineers are required for audits also. Good for construction drawings also in structure, because of course MEP also, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, good for construction, or coordinated drawings are also there. So all this drawing reading, one is there. Second is documentation. Can you read a contract and understand everything? Of course, right? So all these pointers are there which are getting sold fastest, and any civil engineer can take this up.
Right. Now it's ball is in your court.
Modeling.
Oh yes, of course, BIM modeling. BIM modeling in terms of structure you can do. Architecture, you need to be an architect. MEP, yes, of course you can do. BIM is the future. India currently...
They'll be starting BIM in probably next week. Of course, there is a different discussion, but in the next 8 weeks, they'll be learning only BIM.
Almost all part of US or Europe have shifted to BIM.
Correct.
Right? 80% has adopted. India, we have 1% adoption today. Maybe less than 1. Residential, 0. It will never happen also.
Yeah.
Residential, we don't see BIM happening. And we should not aspire also. All the industrial, all the commercial, all the
government sector as well.
Government sector, everything will become in BIM, because in 5 years you will want to move into digital twin also. Because of operation, energy rates you simply compare today and last 10 years. It's already increased. 10 to small 20 years compare kar lo. 20 years and the next 20 years is going to go more high.
Maintenance facility will be very high.
Right? So you would like to keep your digital twin, and with AI you will be able to sort of do something with IoT and AI.
Correct.
Right? So we'll not go there because that's not the intention is. But bottom line is BIM is the future. If you can work in BIM, the future is very bright.
Right. Any questions from your company, your project, your vision?
When we start a new firm or something, there are some kind of in sector of civil engineering. We should see some ethical and some unethical ways we have to adopt. So how to face this situation with regard to unethical situation that we have. And some under the table deals we have to do with some licenses or something.
Okay.
Right. So I can speak on the things that we work at, right? So we work with people who work on the ethical lines, right? We work with big corporates, big architects and consultants. All the money is coming through our portal. in which we charge GST. So everything it comes under white. So in our case, we don't have that second case of cash and you will see in future. So now that the case is reducing from the last 15 years. Okay, 15 years ago 18 to 90% was cash, only 10% was on white. After 2016 RERA coming into picture, the ratio has changed a lot because Benami transaction and RERA both came together. So now 70% is white, 30% is still cash, right? Now it also depends on which state RERA and all. I've heard Hyderabad and all, they have 90-95% white. Very less, I mean they say no to cash only.
That's why all the big corporates are
Shifting there, right? So you'll see the trend. Government will, and after 2016 UPI is there. How will you hide cash? Government does not want you to hold cash.
No, the one more specific thing that you asked is not for the construction. You are asking for the license from the government. Correct. That again depends on the government. Alright. How unethical you want to go. But you still have a choice. Now, one thing I would say is if you want to start up, for example, I'll give you the two states that you belong, which is one Maharashtra and right now Karnataka. Maharera is very strict. Karnataka is still doubtful. However, if you want to start your own firm or for all the approvals and papers, unethical way you can escape if you know brokers and agents. Okay, so brokers and agents will be white. They will take it as a cash from someone else, but in your registration or in your costs, it's just a percentage commission that you are giving. White or black, that is up to the broker. Alright, so for you it is ethical. You can tell the government that I've paid 2% commission of this. Correct. Whether he wants to show it as white or black, that risk he will take. Okay. Second, when you have to register a company, there is no problem with the unethical ways because most of the registrations either happens through brokers or e-portals now. Majority of them are e-portals. Now everything is converted
and
to e-portals.
Government will push everything digital only.
Everything digital, yeah, they are pushing that. That's their agenda as of now. So e-portals are already there from past 6-7 years plus, but now it's even better. Correct? So to start a company, there is no problem. But if you are going into government sector, then individuals come into play, not government as a whole. Your corporator will come into play, your MLA will come into play. Handling them ethically or unethically, that's risky, but that's your own personal
thing. One more thing, sorry to let me clear up the whole statement again with the context of a freelancer or a micro entrepreneur. 99.99% there is no relation of all these big shot of people and their life. They will play in their own segment. Let's say you want to start in a residential, no relation only. So the question itself don't come. If you want to come into pre-construction, which is the way where the space where Gigfactory operates, no question. You don't even have to interact. So you also need to select where you want to be. If you are a road contractor then also road contractors has got different levels to it. Under 1 crore, 2 crore, what bribe you will give in like 20 lakh project? They also don't expect. And many places, these bribes and unethical things are coming down because of digital, medium.
One more reason why it is down is again because like auditing raids are higher. Before it was only if it is some big guy they used to raid. Now even the small 40-50 lakh of raids also we have seen. So again that fear also might affect in terms of lesser corruption or bribe. However, there is another reality also where we have seen, I think people from Karnataka would know, that 40% commission became a huge tagline in the last election, where a particular person pushed for 40% commission to get the projects. Correct? So this again depends on the personnel, but this is nothing to do with the system. Right? Any other doubt? And again only in government. Private, it's clearly white, like I said.
So for them to apply for project like Gigfactory, what are the prerequisites? What are the techniques?
That he told, yeah. What all skills are required? Yes. Any other question for you? Anything to do with freelancing or when you want to start?
That one question I have: how much money can I make per month, managing the current
Right. So depend on first is of course how well you can make those. Skill is for this question. I'm presuming that you know very good quality, good standard BOQ you can make. Right. Second question comes is
10, 11 years of experience in Reliance UK.
right. So you can make
Reliance standards.
good.
GFCs and BOQs, that's the main part of my
Right. So now second thing will come is category of project. So let's say you are in retail. So retail, you already know what are the sizes, right? It will start from let's say 2000 square feet and goes up to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 square feet. So, and based on that, then how many projects you can churn. Are you an individual? Then you can churn X amount of projects, right? You can only put X number of hours. It's all, the moment you are a freelancer, right? Not a micro entrepreneur, freelancer. You have one person to manage yourself. However amount of effort you put in, you will be able to earn, right? Now there is a thumb rule that we say is, depending on the phase of your life and age of your experience, you put hourly amount to your skill set. For a very easy thing, this is not a standard thing. Let's say I value my 1 hour at 1,000 rupees, example. And I take up a work which will consume my 20 hours. So I'll quote the project at 20 hours plus my profit margin of 20%, 25,000, done. I'll be able to earn that much. For a micro entrepreneur which also are with us, they calculate it in a different manner. They calculate it of the whole team. Let's say the whole team is going to put 100 hours and team's amount is let's say 3,000 or 5,000. Multiply that number, you come to that number. So how much capacity you have, one skill set of quality is already we have discussed. On the basis of that you can earn. I mean, I can give you let's say 1 lakh square feet project. Can you complete it in 15 days? You can multiply your hours by this thing, or you can even use the thumb rule. Let's say market is running at 5 rupees per square feet, you can charge 3 because you don't have overheads. You'll charge 3, pass on the benefit to the client, on 3 into 20,000, which is 60,000 rupees in 15 days. Good. So depends on how much you can deliver.
Micro entrepreneurs on 1 or 2 cases where they've earned considerable amount of money just by doing GFC drawings.
Right. So I would not take GFC. I would take 3D because there is a use case that we have developed. So there is a person from remote villages of Chhattisgarh. Okay, not related to me, but remote villages of Chhattisgarh. He has already earned 60,000 rupees with Gigfactory. Sitting there in some village where his expense would be, monthly expense would be 2,000 rupees. He'll not have a place to spend money, right? He has earned 60,000 rupees in the last 2 months. That is the biggest use case for us and biggest proud for me, that if I'm able to change the life of one person sitting there who has somehow got to know Gigfactory. So he's delivering, what he's delivering, I'll tell you. He does 3D renders. So he has done kitchen project, he has done one commercial project, he has done one residential project. Now he's currently doing, I heard, school project, right? All the views of it, exterior views, interior views. So he's sitting there, he is having his laptop 4G connection. He's able to, he's never came to Bombay like for this particular thing. Able to deliver 4 projects, 3 has already done, 4th he is doing, 60,000 he has earned. What else you want? Like this is the my contribution, or the why we started is, India has a lot of talent, Bharat has a lot of talent in all the villages, towns, right? No, not everyone need to come to a city to work. They'll get their opportunity there, and that's what we are building.
One thing that the internet, cheap internet has done to India. Before there was huge influx of urbanization which we studied in school. Like you want a good career, go to big city. That entire myth has been broken now.
Broken. With 5G you will see more.
Yeah, it will be even more. With UPI, 5G,
UPI,
money, work, both can be done at the most minimum cost.
Yeah.
Not all works, of course, not the physical works, but the remote works at least.
And that's why particularly Gigfactory is in pre-construction phase, because we realized this in COVID. Remote is the future.
Correct. And a lot of people went back to their towns who were working in very good places in these big cities.
IT has already happened. Construction will happen. See, we don't know. Tomorrow somebody in China will eat something else. 2027, 2026, we'll have one more virus. We are, stuck in one place. So before that happens, let's create a good, safe business environment. Let's earn those skills, which can make us money even, when we are at our home.
Correct.
So, but also just to add to, Gigfactory's concept, I think both the organizations that I am associated with almost committed about close to 4 to 5 lakh rupees worth of,
Gigs.
gigs of
Yeah,
project, because
right.
I trust the system more. That's very, very important. And we are not even the top 20 of this biggest merit.
Right.
So that speaks volume about the kind of opportunity that is there in India.
Of course. Currently, since we are a young startup, not funded as of now, we only cater to a limited number of clients, but we have 100% successful ratio in terms of repeat business. Every client we have done at least 2-3 projects, at least 2-3. Even with Ascent, we have done, just now he told 4-5 lakh, and that too you are not primarily into construction, right? We work with architects, consultants, developers also, and everyone likes to buy repeat. It's only because we are trying to set up a process. We have the right expert. We have around about 500 experts with us. If you want on-demand knowledge, I'm there to give you. We have also done projects from US and US and Middle East. For US projects, what they are happy about, if they get a draftsman in US, they will charge $45, $40 depending on the state. India, they have outsourced it to me $12, $15. You imagine the arbitrage. Huge amount of money is there. They don't have manpower. India is resourceful today. Next 10 years, India is actually Sone ka chidiya, gold mine. Whatever you want to fly,
But you just need the
Fly.
idea to execute.
Or you have to keep it prepared
you
when the
have
time
to
comes. Yeah.
understand your skills and strength, play on it.
Any other questions?
See, very simple. Connection still, comes secondary. First is, can you deliver first project? Connection comes second project. Anyone, unless they are your mother and father, they will not give you project. First project, unless they are your mother and father. And that too, if you are getting uncle and all, they will catch your parents only. Ki, aapne bola hai, to I am giving.
To be honest, to continue his point, uncle, aunt, or the first who comes with your mother's connection, they are even harsh. Because now the entire family status is on the line.
100%. So you need to first deliver first project, okay? And how will you deliver? You need to understand the client, so you need to communicate properly. First, understand. Communication is a two-way process. So first, understand what is the requirement of the client. Second, deliver, and then communicate. This is what I have delivered. I'm saying it in a very simplistic manner, but it's very complex. So once you do that, you already have your capacity building ready. Then only you go to the networking and all of that thing, right? If you don't have figured out the first place of communicating with and for the client, you'll not be able to complete the project only. So second, networking will not come only. Even if you get, even if you're very good at networking and you're not good at execution, let's say you are able to get the project. He took this point early in the this video. Even if you are able to get project and you are not able to execute, you will not get the projects from, in some time. So execution, you need to know, boss. Your skills you need to know.
To just take it forward in terms of communication, right? One part which is the understanding the client. Second is, initially when you are a small and starting contractor, humility is very, very important. Composure and humility, right? We have seen multiple people who start with the arrogance that they had when they were in a big company. Then let's say they come from brigade, they still have that brigade arrogance when they're starting. Because let's say Sairam Construction, right? Sairam Construction is not a brigade. So you can't come with that attitude. Brigade would have come. I'm from brigade, you give me this. So understanding the reality is important. Otherwise, again, if you deliver, that will not be seen as arrogance, that will be seen as confidence. But if it's not executed, then the entire city will know you're just arrogant. So that is one. And humility, to understand that, you know what, client is the boss. We are working for him and providing him the house that he has dreamt of. A lot of entrepreneurs, contractors especially, like he said, would because they have their own vision of a house, they will try to implement their vision into the client's vision. Sometimes, most of the times, even architect does that. That you should understand first, like, okay, client is number one, then we'll think of our internal propaganda. Right? Great. Anything else? No? Okay. So then I get to conclude this talk. I hope you had some kind of an insight towards the industry of freelancing, the industry of micro entrepreneurship, and the opportunities that are being provided in the industry through and outside of Gigfactory. Right. So I'd like to thank Siddarth Nahta for being here, and both the sessions, I would say, the etiquettes and as well as this session, and imparting the skills that you have gained and the problem that you are trying to solve in the industry, which is mediating the answer to the problem, I would say. Right. So thank you very much.
The pleasure is all mine. Yeah.
For being a part of this session.
Inviting me to Ascent School of Construction Business. I know for a fact that this place is going to be the future of construction and technology combined together, and you have great students for sure. I enjoyed the session also in etiquettes. They had a lot of good questions, and somebody asked a question of ethics also. So realizing consciously this thing is very good for our industry, and we would love that these kind of people come in and bring in the transparency that is required, bring in the digitization that has not happened. I am doing the same in my way, but there are 100 more places where this can be digitized. And you sitting here in Bangalore, in technology hub of country, please promote it as much as you can. And I thank you again for inviting me here to Bangalore from Mumbai, and hopefully we can inspire some people to take up construction and technology together.
Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.